the Super Mario Brothers movie has been, is it fair to say successful?
A little.
Done pretty well. It's done pretty well. Shattering a number of opening weekend box office records, 5-day weekend records, all that kind of stuff. And the tantamount success of its as being an animated film and even not being an animated film. And it is now the highest grossing film of 2023 so far. But it's done so with a type of power and momentum that has been simply undeniable. And now it has joined one of the rarest of clubs. It has joined the $1 billion club.
Yes.
As Super Mario Brothers movie, as of this moment, is officially sitting at $1.022 billion at the worldwide box office. And it's still going. And it's not still going like John Wick is still going, make her $3 or $4 million each weekend. It's still rolling. And it's still making money. So how high will it go? I could get up to the 1.2, maybe the 1.3 billion dollar range. I mean, it's making a load of cash right now, which is absolutely phenomenal. And I think has become the 54th film in cinematic history to join the $1 billion club. I might be off on my number there a little bit, but it's close. It's close to 54 to join the $1 billion club in the 100-year history of the movies that it's done that. And only the 11th animated film in cinematic history to join the $1 billion club. That's crazy. But as of this moment, it is still not, think about this, as successful as the Super Mario Brothers movie has been, it's still not in the top 10 highest grossing animated films of all time. It will be very soon, probably tomorrow. But as of this moment, it's still not in the top 10 of all time, although it will be. So wait a minute, you might think to yourself, with the success of this movie, I mean, how could there possibly be like 10 movies ahead of it? There are. So with the Super Mario Brothers right now being at $1.022 billion, there are still 10 films ahead of it, 10 animated films ahead of it. These are those 10 films. At number 10, will soon be knocked out of the top 10, but is Zootopia. Zootopia made $1.025 billion, which means that Super Mario Brothers just needs me to go back and see it again tonight and it'll pass Zootopia. But the number 10 all-time, as of right now, animated film is Zootopia. At number 9 is Finding Dory, which made $1.029 billion. At number 8, we have Despicable Me 3, which is actually the one movie in all of the Despicable Me and Minions kind of universe that I actually didn't like that much. But it made $1.034 billion and is the number 8 all-time animated film. In the number 7 spot is Toy Story 3. I still think my personal favorite of the Toy Story franchise. In the conversation, I think, for the greatest animated film of all time to me. But Toy Story 3 sits at the number 7 spot with $1.067 billion. At number 6 is another Toy Story film, Toy Story 4, that when they announced it, everybody said, they don't need to make another Toy Story. Well, they did, and it made over $1 billion. It is currently the number 6 all-time animated film at 1.073. Then we get into the top 5. At number 5, again in the Despicable Me universe, the first Minions movie with Sandra Bullock as Scarlet Overkill, one of the great villain names ever in animated films. Minions made $1.159 billion and currently sits at number 5. In the number 4 spot is The Incredibles 2, which I didn't quite like as much as the first Incredibles, but damn, I did love it. I thought it was great. And that one made a whopping $1.243 billion. That's incredible at the number 4 spot. All right, now we're getting to the top 3. The number 3 film is Frozen, making $1.284 billion. And listen, to this day, when Ann and I go out to a theme park, I don't go to Disneyland anymore, but my wife does. But every time I would go to Disneyland, I would see minimum dozen sets of little girls there with their families, dressed as the sisters, Bebop and Rocksteady. I don't know what the name of the sisters are. What are the name of their sisters?
Elsa and Anna.
What's that?
Elsa and Anna.
Elsa and Anna.
Close.
But really, yeah, you're so close.
Also known as Bebop and Rocksteady. Yes.
Nailed it.
You walk around Disneyland, that's all you see is still. You want to talk about influential? That movie was super freaking influential. Well, what could top its $1.284 billion?
Nothing.
Well, another Frozen film. Frozen 2, which quite surpassed it by a lot, made $1.453 billion. Again, I didn't think it was quite as good as number one as the first Frozen, but I really enjoyed Frozen 2 a lot. And they almost accomplished the impossible. Because that song in the first Frozen movie, Let It Go, like you can't possibly top that. They almost did it in Frozen 2. Their main power song in 2 was
Into the Unknown.
Into the Unknown. It's a great song.
Mm-hmm.
It is a great, great, great tune. Anyway, that is the second biggest animated film of all time with 1.453, which leads us, of course, to the number one animated film of all time, the Lion King remake, at $1.663 billion. Now, I see your mouth is agog and aghast.
That's so surprising to me. How? How did what?
The number one, and listen, I know I'm in the minority. I love the remake. I do. Not as much as the original.
Yeah.
No, clearly not. But I really loved the remake. I had a beautiful time at it. But the funny thing is, as I looked around online, looking at other people's, like when I was looking up lists, a number of websites don't have Lion King at the top of the list because there is still to this day this weird perception. I guess some people still call this Lion King remake the live action remake. Guys, there is nothing live action about this movie. It is an animated film.
They used the real lions.
They got the talking lions.
you
Those
get
very
talking
rare
lions.
talking lions. It is, other than, there's a little bit of trivia for you. There is one live action shot in the movie. Did any of you guys behind the cameras know what that is?
Yeah, of course, but we want to hear you say it.
There is one and only one live action shot. And that is the very first shot of the movie, of the sunrise.
I jokingly was going to say
Were you going to say that? That was it. That opening scene of, like as the sun starts coming, that's it. That's the only live shot. Everything else in that movie is animated. Guys, it is not a live action film. It is a thoroughly 100% animated film. And it is the number one box office animated film of all time at $1.663 billion. Okay. So obviously, with the number 10 one being Zootopia here at 1.025 billion, obviously Mario Brothers is going to probably pass that by the end of the day.
It's at 2.2?
It is at 1.022.
Okay.
So probably by the end of the day, Mario's
3
going
million.
to bump out Zootopia and grow. So the question will become, how high on the list will it become? It'll obviously easily, with the blink of an eye, get in the number 10 spot. With Finding Dory being at 1.029 billion, I don't think it's going to have much problem getting that. Let's go back to the graphic there. I don't think it's going to have much of a problem jumping the number 9 spot. At 1.034, considering Minions or Mario's already at 0.22, I think it won't have any problem jumping the number 8 spot. Also at 0.67, I don't think it's going to have terribly much trouble jumping the number 7 spot. Same as number 6. Number 5, Minions. This is where it starts to become interesting, but I think it's got more than $100 million still left in it. So I think it's going to climb the number 5 spot. Now, number 4 is where it starts. This is where it starts to get a little bit in question. Mm-hmm. So I think the Mario Brothers movie is going to get into the top 5, but can it pass The Incredibles' $1.243 billion? That's another $220 million Mario needs to make. And it can. It can. But it's not a walk in the park. It's not going to be easy. So that's where it becomes iffy. So maybe Mario getting the number 4 spot is possibly on the table. And if number 4 is on the table, then Frozen 3 at 1.248 or 84 billion, that's also within reach. Because if we're going to say 0.243 is within reach, then 0.284 has got to also possibly be in reach. But I think that's where it ends. I don't see Mario getting to the number 2 spot with the 1.4, and I certainly don't see it getting the number 1 spot at 1.6. So if I had to guess, my guess is I think it gets the number 4 spot. I think Mario will end up as the number 4 highest grossing animated film of all time. I think it can get that high, and I'm going to guess it'll fall maybe just a hair short of Frozen 3, definitely short of Frozen 2. Anyway, Chris, we see these numbers. I mean, it's weird to think. I remember I first thought about that when I thought about, well, Mario's so successful, one of the highest grossing animated films of all time, and then realizing as of this moment, it wasn't even in the top 10. And you look at that list and you realize how many billion-dollar films there have been for animated. Mario's only the 11th to do it. Mm-hmm. What do you think about its accomplishment to hit that milestone, and how high up that all-time list do you think it could climb?
Oh, I think it can move a few spots forward. I'm still so confused about The Lion King. I'm so confused because aside from you and Aaron, most people I talked to did not like that film. Did everyone just go all at once?
They all went. And
they all went
it.
and then were mad? Did they keep going back because they were still angry? I don't understand. Anyway. I think, though, that this movie could do really, really well. I think it could be a top 10 contender for sure. You know, I bring it up every time we talk about Mario. I live next to a theater, and every single weekend, it is kids dressed up as these characters going to see the movie and going to see it multiple times, too. They'll let you know, like, this is my 3rd time seeing this. So I really think this has the potential to keep climbing because so many kids are so excited about it. I'm seeing it again probably this Wednesday. My building's doing a whole, like, resident appreciation night where we get to see a movie for free. And it'll be my 3rd viewing. This will be my husband's 2nd. It's a fun time. I know the story's a little loosey-goosey, but I don't go see a Mario film for, gritty, moving drama. I really don't need that. I just wanted to see something that was reminiscent of my childhood and made me think about how much I love these games and everything. And I forgot about the voice acting, too, as I was watching it. So that was lovely. I think that this is going to be, top 8 maybe. Could get in there.
Well, I don't think 8 is going to be a problem.
No.
I mean, 8 is, it could be top 8 by next weekend.
Yeah, I think a little past that is maybe questionable. I don't know if we're getting those 1.4 numbers.
No, I think just, Frozen 2 is probably safe.
Yeah.
Getting back to the Lion King thing, though, you mentioned that other than me and Aaron, you don't really know anybody that liked it.
Yeah.
What's your over-under on what the critic or what the audience score is for the remake of The Lion King?
Ooh. I feel like it's probably somewhere around a 60.
Okay. 88%.
88, really?
The audience rating on Lion King, the remake, is 88%.
Oh, well, I guess that just goes to show you that mostly when people don't like something, they're louder.
We are. I
Yeah.
mean, but also the critic rating was not great. The critic rating fell below the audience rating at 52. So it's kind of split the audience. But so let's talk about this for a second. Why did Mario work? Because I'm going to tell you right now, this is not the greatest animated film of all time, like by any stretch of the imagination. But I want to suggest 5 reasons why I think Mario has worked and worked so well. The first one I think is this, and why it continues to be so successful: nostalgia factor. I mean, that is just a real thing. Nostalgia can be used as a cheap gimmick, but nostalgia is just a tool like any other tool. It can be used badly, but it can be used well. And I think in the case of Mario Brothers, the nostalgia factor, the fact that we, look at these things and we all remember playing these things, I mean, from our childhoods up till last night when I jumped on my Nintendo Switch and played a little bit of Mario Kart because I had 10 minutes to kill. So there's a nostalgia factor. I think the second reason why the movie's done so well is because there are 3 generations of fans. Literally generations of fans. There are people going to the Mario Brothers movie who have been playing Mario games, and their parents played Mario games, and their grandparents played Mario games. And when you have that kind of legacy, multi-generational stuff going on, that can be very, very powerful. I think the third reason Mario has been so successful is it had a fantastic marketing campaign. I mean, they knew how to touch on all the right stuff. I still remember when that one trailer came out where we saw Mario in the carts and on the Rainbow Bridge and just seeing him go, woohoo, and stuff like that. Like, all that stuff. They knew exactly the kind of movie they were making, and the marketing department on this, again, full credit to their marketing department. They knew exactly how to push the buttons for those of us watching those trailers. They knew how, we already talked about nostalgia factor. They knew exactly how to use that short trailer and ping that nostalgia and get us excited and get us ramped up and into the theaters. And the marketing campaign was absolutely fabulous. Cannot underplay how big of a factor that is in the success of Mario Brothers. Also, the number 4 reason I think Mario has done so well is they played it relatively safe. There is nothing bold about this Mario Brothers movie. There is no new ground being tread. There is nothing deep about this movie. And you know what? That's totally fair. They understood what the strength of this movie was going to be. The nostalgia factor, the multi-generational factor, the just pure, simple fun, right? And they decided they didn't have to do what some other animated films do, which is try to make it deeper, get into some more emotional stuff, whatever. They played it quite safe. And again, sometimes playing it safe is the right approach. And the Mario Brothers decided to play it safe, and it worked. Also, this kind of goes around with the 3-generational factor, but I think it needs to get a category of its own as to why Mario did so well. It appeals to kids. I mean, it is bright. It's colorful. It's got a buoyancy to it, like this bouncy kind of whatever feel. It just looks charming and fun and delightful. So you got idiots like me who's like, I cannot wait to see Mario. But the kids wanted to go and rush and see this. This was a movie that was made for everybody, right? It's a movie that was made for everybody. And when you combine a great nostalgia factor with the fact that it has multi-generational appeal, with an absolutely terrific marketing campaign, then you make sure not to alienate anybody, but don't try to do anything special. Just keep it simple. And then on top of that, having a big wide appeal to kids, you had a big recipe for success.
And it's really short.
And it's short.
So like kids' attention spans, like they last through the movie, and plus you get more showings, I think.
Whose attention spans?
Kids.
Mine. And mine.
That's it.
Yeah, you know, I'm speaking for us. I speak for the kids, you know? So that probably works for them too, because it does get more showings, right?
Yes, I mean, with that roughly 90-minute thing,
Yeah.
you also got more showings, which normally doesn't matter unless you're packing out the theaters. This movie was packing out the theaters and was really able to leverage and use that those short run times to squeeze in that extra screening per day. So you put and by the way, I want to just emphasize one more thing. This is another movie that proves that winning cures everything. Because remember, when the first trailer dropped, all anybody wanted to talk about was Chris Pratt's voice. Mm-hmm. That's gonna ruin the movie. This is gonna be awful. This is gonna and guess what? Winning cures everything. The movie came out. It was fun. It was enjoyable.
But
I don't hear anybody talking about Chris Pratt's voice anymore. You know why? But guess what? If the movie
We all
was
switched to
bad,
Seth Rogen.
if the movie was bad, yeah, now we're all talking about Seth Rogen as Duncan. But if the movie was bad, Chris Pratt could have done the exact same performance, exact same voice, exact same everything. Nobody's talking about it now, but if the movie ended up being bad and Chris Pratt was exactly the same in it, that's all anybody would be talking about. Well, they ruined it by having Chris Pratt do the voice. But winning cures everything. Now no one's talking about it. But yes, the Seth Rogen thing is hard to get. I love Seth Rogen. Might not have been the best choice to do him as Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
But whatever. Anyway, guys,
Fine.
question is for you. What do you think about this? The Super Mario Brothers movie is now, as of this specific second, the 11th all-time highest grossing animated film and the 11th animated film all time to cross the $1 billion mark. And it's going to jump a number of spots even just this week. How high do you think it can go? What do you attribute the movie's incredible success to? Whatever you guys think, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Today's episode of the John Campea Show is brought to you by Honey, the easy way to save when shopping on your iPhone or computer. Guys, more and more we enjoy shopping online, whether it's on our phones or our computers. And how many times have you gotten to the checkout and seen that promo code box and thought, man, if I only had a promo code, I could save some money? Well, thanks to Honey, manually searching for coupon codes is a thing of the past. Honey is the free shopping tool that scours the internet for promo codes and applies the best one it finds to your cart. So here's the situation. You're shopping online on one of your favorite sites, and when you go to checkout, the Honey button appears, and all you have to do is click Apply Coupons. Then just wait a few few seconds as Honey works its magic and searches for coupons it can find for that site that you're on. And if Honey finds a working coupon, just watch the price drop. Recently, Ann and I were hanging out at home one evening and we decided to order in, and the Honey button appeared. I was able to apply a coupon and I actually saved like $6 or $7. It was that easy to use. And Honey doesn't just work on your desktop computer, it also works on your iPhone. Just activate it on Safari on your phone and save on the go. If you don't already have Honey, you could be straight up missing out. And by getting it, you'll be doing yourself a solid and supporting this show. Get Honey for free at joinhoney.com/Campea. That's joinhoney.com/Campea.